Let's keep in mind that since Gunther has retired John Cena, Gunther hasn't done a damn thing. He came out here and said that John Cena tapped out like a, and then on Monday night, AJ Styles slapped the shit out of Gunther. So Gunther hasn't had any real action in about 2 to 3 weeks since the retirement. And the only type of physical altercation he's been involved with resulted in the shit being slapped out of him. He just got mad and left it at that. And that was almost equivalent to John Cena smiling when he was getting his happy ass choked. Maybe I'm just looking at everything wrong, especially coming into the new year of 2026. What do I want from the WWE at this point? Because I'm just under the assumption that the WWE no longer cares about making professional wrestling. I honestly don't know what this is anymore. These people never cease to amaze me. Every single week is some type of disparity with the WWE. So let me get this straight. The WWE sits here a year in advance and books this stupid match, the retirement match for John Cena versus Gunther. You do that even though you shouldn't. You end the match in one of the worst ways possible. They tried to act like it was a win because of the reaction that Gunther was getting from the crowd. Now, 3 weeks later, and the crowd hardly cares that Gunther is even there. The first 2 weeks, Gunther was being booed out of the building. But let's just be real. That reaction was really for Triple H. They don't even want to talk to Gunther. But I guarantee you, if Triple H makes an appearance, you're going to hear that reaction that Gunther got week 1 and 2. Now let's focus on Gunther a little bit more. He hasn't assaulted anybody. He hasn't done anything that a heel would do, especially getting that type of heat from the crowd. He didn't capitalize or monetize on any of that momentum from John Cena's retirement. This is what I was afraid of from the beginning. This is what I was afraid of when Gunther was even being rumored to be John Cena's last opponent. There was no other outcome. Those people over there in the WWE think that they're so far and beyond anybody else's way of thinking when it comes to pro wrestling. But yet they didn't have the foresight and they weren't intuitive enough to understand that in the long run, people are just not going to care about Gunther. I'm sorry to have to be the one to break this news. This is a worldwide classic exclusive. Yes, Gunther is a great wrestler, but that's almost subjective at this point. He's starting to lose a little bit of that aura that he had before. It was a time when Gunther had matches that felt like they were next level and that you were seeing an evolution of pro wrestling. But a lot like I've seen with Cody Rhodes, it's just something going on with the WWE creative where they've been counterproductive. And this is something that I've pointed out numerous times. But like I always say, you don't have to take my word for it. Just take a look. What is Gunther doing with this momentum for retiring John Cena? This is why I had a problem with him being in that spot. I'm just here to say that I don't think he can be the top guy in WWE. This is just like every other situation for this company. It's not really the wrestler's fault. They're just there to do a job. This is all the WWE because they're the ones that's calling the plays. The execution just isn't living up to the standard. As silly as it might seem, Gunther doesn't speak English 100% fluent, which means that it's a disconnect with the English-speaking crowd, which equals, I don't know if Gunther could ever fully get over with the WWE universe. He could be a power player in the company, but to be the main guy, I just don't know. We can even look at the history of WWE. Besides a guy like the Iron Sheik, how many other wrestlers were able to be the top stars without speaking 100% fluid English? A lot of people say that Gunther is a great wrestler. Gunther is okay. When you really look at everything Gunther does in the ring, Gunther is a basic wrestler. Again, I hate to have to be the messenger because I want people to like what they like. I'm not here to deter anybody from being a Gunther fan, but we always have to keep everything in context. This man Gunther hit you with a few chops, a janky drop kick, a power bomb, a headlock. I mean, what do y'all want from me? I'm not trying to get out on Gunther, but damn it, it's 2026. We're going to get down to the bottom of this. Because no matter how extreme people think I am with some of my takes on these situations, I don't miss all that often, especially when it's not obvious to the naked eye. Most of the time, when the WWE makes a great heel, sooner or later, that great heel becomes an even bigger babyface. This is just history, guys. We might be too prisoner of the moment as well when it comes to pro wrestling. We might have to go back and watch wrestling in the 90s and some in the 2000s. If we were watching Gunther on Raw is War or WCW Monday Nitro, I don't think Gunther is even half the star that he is now. I say that because there were a lot of guys in the 90s that wrestled the exact same way that Gunther wrestles. Every wrestler in the 90s, whether they were big stars or not, they were fundamentally sound in the ring. That's a fact. When we watch wrestling nowadays, we're seeing people that's still trying to figure out how to be 100% effective in the ring. It's a different landscape in wrestling than what we realize. Let's look at a guy like William Regal, because in the 90s, a lot of people couldn't appreciate what William Regal brought to the table. A lot of people couldn't appreciate how good William Regal was. If you're a wrestling fan like me, then we feel like it's a disservice to the sport that he was never a world champion. There might not be a lot of wrestlers in the business that's as good as William Regal, but he just never was given that opportunity to be the top guy. Let's go back to Gunther. I don't think that Gunther outperforms William Regal. I mean, is that a crazy train of thought to have? I don't think Gunther can do the things that William Regal can do in the ring. But I do think that Gunther is a version of a William Regal. But you could put William Regal in the ring with a cruiserweight. William Regal could get in the ring and have a classic match with any wrestler on the planet. Gunther has that type of potential. But it's just that right now. I think the match that Gunther had with Ilya Dragunov in NXT just left an impression on people when they really think Gunther is just a next level athlete. It was a great match, and you could put it in the top 10 of classic matches throughout history, especially being that it was during the pandemic. I think that's what made that match extra special. It might have been the first and only match during the pandemic that had that type of impact even without a crowd. But it is pro wrestling, so you're only as good as your opponent. Ilya Dragunov is really that good of an opponent. And since that time, Gunther has had a classic or two. He just hasn't been stringing along the matches that you need to be the top guy. And I know it's still early, so I hope that I'm wrong. I hope I don't know what the hell I'm talking about and that Gunther is every bit as good as the WWE thinks that he is. I hope he's the reason why the WWE is exciting to watch. I'm not rooting against it. I just have this special ability to know a false alarm when I see one.